So the CR-V was having a little overheating problem. My daughter said whenever she was stopped, it would start getting hot, and it would get so hot she felt the need to turn it off. And then one time she turned it off and it wouldn't start back up. That leads us to believe it's probably something to do with the fans, since it stays cool while you're driving. So let's check that out. A real quick way to tell if it's your fans, you have two fans here. This I think is your air conditioning fan, and this is your main radiator cooling fan. It could be reversed, but anyways, quick way to tell, even if the engine's cold, if you turn the air condition on, both fans should start up. If they don't, then there's a problem with one of the fans or the power getting to the fans. So let's crank it and turn on the air condition and see what happens. Really quick, before we get too far into this video, for those faithful viewers awaiting more videos on the oil burning Corolla, they will be coming. I just had other things that needed to be done first, mostly with this CR-V to get it ready for my daughter to take back to college. Thanks for your patience. So we have only one fan running at the moment. Let's see if that fan is getting power. Right over here, hopefully you can hear me. The disconnect. You have to remove it from this bar first. Push that little tab out that way and pull up. Press down on this one and pull it apart. Now, this side, which I guess would be the female side, this is the male side that's actually connected to the fan. This side that's not connected to the fan should have power going to it as long as our relays are good and there's no bad connections. So let's test and see if this has power. If this has power, then we know the fan is the culprit. Got my multimeter. Hook up the black to the common, the red to the volts. Then I'm going to turn this to voltage. There. So here we are. This should be probably around 14 point some odd volts when I touch these connectors. So it doesn't matter which one. Oh no! Alright, we'll try this again. Put the red in this one. Black in this one, and we've got 14.3 volts. That tells us that there is power coming to the fan, so the fan is the problem. If there were no power coming to here, if we got nothing on this connection right here, then the next place we would go is to this relay box or fuse box. If you see here, there is a condenser fan and a cooling fan relay in here, and there's also a fuse in here. And we could swap these two out. One of these is the condensing fan and one's the cooling fan. We can swap them to see if the fans, one fan stops and the other fan starts. and we can check this fuse back here to see if it's broken. But our problem is the fan itself. Okay, I have a new fan here. They had this in stock at Advance Auto. Just held on with 4 bolts. But before we put this on, let me tell you something else that could be the problem. So if both fans come on when you turn the air conditioner on, but your car is still overheating when you're stopped, and if you turn the air conditioner off when the car is hot, there are no fans running, and I think it's this fan that should be running. If you turn the AC off and this fan is not running yet the car is above normal operating temperature, then it is probably your engine coolant temperature switch, which is right there. That's the thermostat housing right there. The engine coolant temperature switch. It's held on with a 24 millimeter, well, it is, the body is a 24 millimeter socket, I believe, and that is probably your culprit. I know the one on this one is good because I just changed the thermostat. I just tested the switch and I put it in a pot and heated up the water and put a thermometer in the water. It's a 2-pin connector in there, and if you put 1 probe on each of the pins, as soon as the temperature gets up to 190, 193 to 200 degrees, you should suddenly get continuity. But when it's cooler than that, it's an open circuit. So that's how you test that. So it looks like these are just 10 millimeter bolts. There's 2 at the bottom and 2 at the top. See if I can show you down there without burning myself on the manifold. There's one. Other's probably hidden down there. I don't know if I can see it. Is that it over there? That might be it. And then there and there. Also, one more thing about it. If your culprit is one of the fans and you have to order a new one or go buy a new one, make sure you look at it or look at the picture, because this one has these 90-degree mounts on it and this one mounts flat. So make sure you get the right one. I should really do the bottom bolts first, I think. Now let's see if we can finagle this out of here. And be careful not to damage the cooling fins on the radiator here. Now if I can get it out without taking something else apart, taking this hose off. So we'll go down here and drain a little coolant. There's the bleed valve, the drain cock. Oh, and that exhaust manifold is still warm. and turn the drain cock off. Now let's see. Come on. There we go. There we go. Well, that's the original fan. I think it's got 200 and some thousand miles on it. Mitsuda. But before I put this on, let's test it to make sure it works. That wire's not gonna catch on anything. See, this turns freely. It does. I'm just gonna go back in, turn on the air condition, and see if this fan spins up too. I probably should have done this before I took the other fan out. Oh well. Of course, the orientation of this cable is not going to be right because I think it should be up here. And there's no alternate place to put that. So it has to go on like this or like this. Actually, it looks like the connector will connect down at the bottom if we need it to, so we'll do that. We'll just go ahead and put it back on there. Actually, let's not put it on there yet. That might be hard to get loose once it's in there. See if we can get it down in there. Nope. I guess it'd be good if I took this hose off, wouldn't it? There we go. There we go. There we go. I'm just going to put these bolts in loosely until I get them all started. Need my magnet. Good thing about radiators being aluminum is it's not going to want to stick to the radiator. Tighten that up. There's a little extension on this one, for this bottom corner. I think it's a good idea, maybe it's not. Try it without the extension. Coolant hose back on. Nope. Let's hook the electrical connector up first. Here that is. Here is the little part. Get in there. Come on now. There we go. There we go. Now see if we can get it on the bottom of that fan. Where's that clip? Where is it? There it is. going by feel down here. See if I can get that clipped on. There. Yes. Let's see if you can see it. That is clipped in there. Yep. Now we'll hook the hose back up. Pliers. Put our coolant back. Now, just to let you know, I should have probably unhooked the battery the whole time, but you know, if you do it, you probably want to unhook the battery so you don't get shocked or anything. I actually have this loose. I'll leave it off a second to reset everything, and I'll tighten that up with a 10mm. Alright, another thing, since I did disconnect this radiator hose, I want to make sure, you know, my radiator is topped off and my coolant reservoir is topped off. And then after driving it a little while and letting the fan cycle, I'm going to come back after the engine cools and I'm going to make sure my radiator is topped off and my reservoir is up to the full mark. Oh, and not all antifreeze is animal safe. So if you spill any coolant and you don't know that your antifreeze is animal safe, please, you know, rinse off the driveway, the carport, the street, whatever, your vehicle, and so you dilute it and keep all the critters safe. All right, now that it's all installed, let's go ahead and crank the engine, turn the AC on, and make sure both fans are still working. All right. Now I'm gonna leave the air conditioner off and make sure that when the engine gets up to operating temperature, one of the fans comes on. That is normal operating temperature. Right there, when that bar is perfectly horizontal right there, that is where it stays, as long as everything's working like it should. The fan's working, thermostat's working, that's where it stays. Yes, it turned on both fans. Both fans. I had no idea they both ran. I was going to add a few more things in this video, like a short experiment with Barr's rear main seal stop leak, and explaining all the things I've done to this 20-year-old CR-V to try to make it reliable enough for my daughter to drive to South Florida by herself. But it seems it's already run a little too long, so I might throw those things in a separate video. Anyway, that's all there is to diagnosing and replacing a radiator fan. Thanks as always for watching, and I hope to see you next time.